Is it ever okay to tell a lie? According to the Bible, the answer to this question is always no. And though our lies may fool our friends or our family, a lie will never fool God. And worse, when we are dishonest, it always hurts our relationship with God. This principle is at the heart of today's lesson, when a married couple named Ananias and Sapphira choose to lie to the Holy Spirit. And the result of this choice is disastrous. God desires His people and His church to be honest. Our prayer is that God would use this lesson to open up a discussion about honesty with you and your kids. Children, like us all, are tempted to lie, stretch the truth, or hold the whole truth back. And yet, God can see our hearts. He can see what others do not. And so the most rewarding life always comes about when we are honest with God and honest with each other.
Because you were forsaken, and I'm accepted. You were condemned, and I'm alive and well. Your spirit is within me, because you died and rose again. I'm forgiven because you were forsaken. You were condemned, and I'm alive and well. Your spirit is within me, because you died.
But there is hope in this story. Our perfect gospel glory. He made his way to Bethlehem, a son of sons of Abraham. People look forward again, because hope is here and his name is Jesus. Jesus wasn't just a man, a savior brings with him a plan for freedom from what tries to rule our lives again and again. Jesus came away, he blew everything they thought they knew. The years God's people had to cope with fear they had run out of hope. But there is hope in this story. Our perfect gospel glory. He made his way to Bethlehem, a son of sons of Abraham. People look forward again, because hope is here and his name is Jesus. Hope means freedom, hope is more. Hope is expectation for change and joy and life brand new. That's what Jesus came to do. Hope means freedom, hope is more. Hope is expectation for change and joy and life brand new. That's what Jesus came to do. That's what Jesus came to do. Oh, there is hope in this story. Our perfect gospel glory. Made his way to Bethlehem, a son of sons of Abraham. People look forward again, because hope is here. People, hope is here. We know hope is here and his name is Jesus. And his name is Jesus.
The early church, filled with God's grace, was so perfectly united in their love for God and for others that many Christians sold their land and possessions and distributed the money to those in need. But the power and unity that the early church enjoyed was challenged when Satan himself whispered in the ears of Ananias and Sapphira. Ananias said to his wife, "Let us sell our property, but instead of giving all the money we earn, we will secretly keep some of it ourselves." His wife agreed to the plan. Ananias was eager to lay his portion of money at the feet of the apostles. True, it was not everything he and his wife had earned from the sale, but it was a lot. He felt confident that it was enough to fool everyone into believing his lie, so he could walk away with the honor of men, and all without having to make the ultimate sacrifice of giving it all. But the Spirit of God revealed to the Apostle Peter how Ananias and Sapphira had conspired to lie about how much they were giving to the church. Peter confronted Ananias. "This land belonged to you, and the money you made from the sale belonged to you. Why didn't you just tell us the truth? Instead of leading us to believe that you had given us everything, you have not lied to men, but to God." As soon as he heard those words from Peter, Ananias dropped to the ground and died instantly. The shocking news of the event spread quickly, and all those who heard it were filled with great fear. A couple of young men nearby wrapped up the body and took it outside the city to be buried. This sad story does not end with the death of Ananias. About 3 hours later, his wife Sapphira, unaware of what had happened, came before Peter. No doubt she was filled with pride about what she and her husband were presenting as a great and generous sacrifice. Peter asked her, "Tell me, is this amount the price you and Ananias received for the land you sold?" She replied, "Yes, that is the price." Peter said to her, "How could you conspire to test the Holy Spirit and lie about the money? The same men who buried your husband have returned and will now bury you." As soon as she heard these words from Peter, she fell down at his feet and immediately died, just like her husband. The same young men who had just returned from burying Ananias took her body and buried her alongside her husband. And great fear seized the whole church, as well as everyone else who had heard about the tragic events.